I'm Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group, with Kyle Thomas, a certified financial planner on the Haven investment team, talking about power of compounding, returns. We're going to talk with Kim about Roths. Listeners can give us a call at 612-504-8400 or havenfinancialgroup.com. We encourage it. That's what we're here for. And as it relates to retirement, that's where we help people in a variety of different ways.
Kyle Thomas is with us today. He's a certified financial planner with on the investment team with Haven Financial. Always great to have Kyle along. We're going to talk about Roth accounts. You know, they come in a couple of different forms. They sometimes are IRAs, sometimes they're in the form of 401ks, and they do really have some unique opportunities, don't they, Larry? But there's some things people also need to be aware of.
For sure. You know, we're big fans of Roth. On a weekly basis, people come in and they kind of kick themselves. Why don't I have more money in Roth? Why didn't somebody tell me ahead of time? You know, I have all this in pre-tax. You know, you've been preached to for years to put it in the pre-tax. What's important to understand is the timeline hasn't been forever that you could put money in Roth. They haven't been in employer-sponsored plans for that many years. Yes, the more money you can get in Roth, the better. It's fourth quarter, and if listeners haven't talked about IRA to Roth conversions, you know, it's the fourth quarter. Everybody should have the discussion, whether it's applicable to you or not. But we're big fans of Roths for a variety of reasons. Pay now or pay later. You know, many of the clients, you know, we have had low tax brackets that will sunset the end of 2025. You know, it goes in, you pay the taxes, and then when you take it out, it's tax-free. Well, what do you think taxes are going to be 10 years from now? When you have to be, if you're 63 or whatever you're at, and you have to take required minimum distributions. So tax, you know, pay now or pay later, but then you have to look at, yes, but is there more value in getting the tax benefit in the given year? You know, the tax-free withdrawals, it's great if you need some additional income and your income's already high. So there's so many benefits to it. However, how do you do it? Larry, I make too much money. There's income limits. I can't do it. Where there's a will, there's a way, and people may have heard of backdoor Roths, which we won't get deep into the weeds, but there's certain restrictions. You want to make sure that you're wearing, again, does it make sense? You know, with these IRA to Roth conversions, there's some time limits. You know, the 5-year rule on every conversion where you can't really access the earnings. So again, what are the drawbacks? What are the pros? What are the cons? The problem is, many people are not tax planning. They're not having these conversations. The year will go by, and then next year we'll have a conversation. Did you take advantage of this? Larry, nobody told me. Nobody instructed me. Nobody even pointed it out. Those are the things we want to avoid. Unforced errors, missed opportunities, because the conversation was never had.
So you've said there's pros and cons. So Kyle, why don't you talk us through like the scenarios that would be good for someone to invest in Roth?
Yeah, so there's many good scenarios for someone to invest in Roth. And the people that come to mind when I think about that right off the bat is the younger generations, you know, those people's in the 20s and 30s again, because those are going to be some of the lowest earning years of your lifetime. And the thing with Roth is that it's after tax money. So it's money that's already been taxed at whatever your tax rate is. So if you're in the cheapest tax rates of your life, well, that's a good time to put money into Roth. Sure. Maybe not necessarily if you're in the 30 or 40% tax rate, you're getting close to retirement because those are your highest earning years. And so that might be a spot where you want to do pre-tax traditional IRA, traditional 401k. That's the same kind of bucket right there in tax status, because that's going to lower your income. You're going to have a tax deduction on that amount. So that's a positive to doing a Roth. And then, you know, positive to doing pre-tax IRA, you know, when you're in those higher income years.
Let's talk about if you do put your money in, what are the restrictions and what are the rules about starting to draw that money off?
So you have to wait until you're 59 and a half in most cases. For a Roth IRA, you are able to take out your principal contributions at any time and without penalty. It's only the earnings that you have to wait until you're 59 and a half, and you have to wait 5 years at the minimum. So that's when you have to wait on those, but you can get access to your contributions at any time. And there is, exceptions for hardships and first-time home buyers and all that for IRAs and Roth. So there are ways to get access to it, but in reality, we want to keep that money in Roth there until we're in retirement as long as we can.
And are there rules related to when you have to draw it?
Kim, the beauty of the Roth is there's no RMDs necessary. The taxes have already been paid. There's always exceptions. Kyle mentioned first-time home purchase, qualified education expenses. I think last week or the week before, you and I talked about using Roths to help plan for those kids or grandkids' college expenses, and I think that's a great way to do it. If certain emergencies come up, it can be accessed. Another really big benefit, if legacy is important to anybody, the Roth IRA is very powerful because oftentimes when beneficiaries receive IRA funds, pre-tax monies from mom or dad or whoever it is, they're in oftentimes their highest tax bracket, and they better be thankful, mom and dad, for what you're giving them. However, they might be taxed at a higher rate because they're making more money. The beauty of the Roth is it's tax-free to the beneficiaries. Although I had one couple say, well, that means that I paid the tax and the kids don't have to pay the tax. Yes, that is correct. If that's important to you, they're going to really appreciate it if it's Roth money. So for estate planning purposes and legacy, it's a great way because, of course, many of us know that several years ago, the stretch IRA or the multi-generational IRA that, across the country, Ed Slott, an East Coast CPA, he's a guru on taxes. I've heard him. He's a speaker. He gets giddy about taxes, and I'll tell you what. He wrote books on multi-generational stretch IRAs that are obsolete because the rule and the laws change. Now you have to accomplish those goals if it's important to you through other measures or through some other planning processes. So big fans of the Roth for sure.
What are some of the limits? Do you know for income? I'm sorry. What are some of the limits?
Well, there is a phase out for the amount of income that you can have. And off the top of my head, I'm not sure what those are. But for someone married filing jointly, I believe it's around 180,000 or so.
Okay.
So it's upwards of that amount. And, like Larry said, there are ways to get around that, like the backdoor Roth.
Sure.
And that's something that you should definitely talk to a professional about if you don't qualify to do a traditional Roth IRA contribution, because we can get a little fancy with it and get you some backdoor Roth money, because that makes sense when you have a non-deductible IRA contribution, because that non-deductible IRA contribution isn't tax deductible. And then it's also a tax-free Roth conversion. So that's where it makes sense for that stuff. But there's always a way to try and get it done, like Larry mentioned.
Yeah, because even though there are the income limits, the backdoor Roth, even though you might not get the upfront tax benefit, again, that's maybe okay because you get the benefit on the back end. So what you have to do is, just like I've said several times, is weigh the benefits. Does it make sense to have it in a traditional pre-tax now, tax-wise? Is there more of a benefit in the future? I can't stress enough, the fourth quarter, now is the time we're having the IRA Roth conversion because at the end of the year, if you don't have it done, and don't wait till the end of the year, we should really have it done, by the first week of December and no later than that. Otherwise, it's a good chance it's not going to get done. And I say that not only on the conversion or that discussion, but if you have an inherited IRA, if RMDs are coming due, if you're needing withdrawals or distributions before the end of the year, do not wait till the second half of December. And again, not saying it's bad, but there's always the procrastinators out there. It's okay. It's human nature. But we want to avoid not being able to confirm that things are going to be done because the end of the year, things get extremely hectic. Ask yourself, does it make sense? Has anybody had this discussion with you? Educated decisions, yes, it does, and here's why, or no, it doesn't, and here's why. If you have that in-depth conversation, it'll be crystal clear as to why you did what you were supposed to do.
Sure, absolutely. Well, if you want to know how to best utilize a Roth into your portfolio, or maybe you would like to introduce that strategy into your portfolio, then give Haven Financial Group a call. That number is 612-504-8400. Let me give you it again. It's 612-504-8400. You can also go to havenfinancialgroup.com. You'll learn about some of those educational seminars that are coming up. They are open to the public and they are free. They just need folks to sign up. Go to havenfinancialgroup.com. Gentlemen, when we come back, Secure Act 2.0.